ago, go skydiving wearing a toupee. Did a vasectomy from a guy in a trainee hat. I know a little bit about cults. I used to belong to one years ago. I was a Hare Krishna, Branch Davidian, macrobiotic, Zen Buddhist, Kung Fu, born-again Weight Watcher for peace. It's a big TV night. It's like the World Series, and the Academy Awards, and the NBA Finals, and the premiere of Rush Limbaugh's aerobics tape. I have a rich fantasy life. All right, thank you very much. It's great to be back in Spokane, the entertainment capital of the Western world. Have you ever had a bad day? One of those really bad days, not just a marginal bad day, but one of those big ones. One of those days when your son calls up and says, "Dad, I've quit medical school to become a shepherd." One of those days when you mix up the mace and the breath freshener. And police say, "What'd the mugger look like?" And you say, "I don't know, but he smells good." One of those days when you go to a tractor pull and find yourself intellectually stimulated. And on the way home, you rear end a propane truck. And some idiot says, "Don't worry, I'll light a flare." You'll think that'll be the low point of your day, but it won't. No, the low point will be when some positive person says, "Hey, those aren't problems, those are opportunities." You just want to punch them. There are no problems, just opportunities. You hear it every day. Positive people in all our communities. Well, I don't think life works that way. I think there's a balance in life. I think there's positive and negative. Animals know that. That's why dogs are positive, cats are negative. It's true, isn't it? You get lost with a dog, no food, no water, that dog will be saying, "Hey, this isn't a problem. This is an opportunity. I'll run for help, save my master, get my picture in the paper." You get lost with a cat, no food, no water, that cat will be saying, "Well, looks like you're gonna die." I'll see you later. There are no problems, just opportunities. You hear it every day. Positive people in all our communities. Well, I don't think life works that way. In politics, it's gone the other way. Everyone's negative. Man, they're mean, aren't they? Bitter, attacking. So I've started the Negative Political Party. We're against everything. We're against good schools. We feel if we can keep the kids stupid, they won't take away our jobs. We're against Prozac. We feel you should treat depression the old-fashioned way, with liquor. Oh, yeah. There's some people who've been treating it right here. The Negative Political Party. Our symbol is a happy face with an arrow through it. We want people who know there are problems. People who know if you rent an apartment and discover your upstairs neighbors are clogged dancers, that is not an opportunity. If a mafia godfather catches you in a tool shed with his wife, you have got a big problem. If you're driving with a cigar in your mouth and the airbag goes off, sure enough, some fool will say, hey, there are no problems, just opportunities. Well, I think that is wrong. But I think this is a great opportunity to end this song. Thank you. I've been thinking some more about superstitions. As you may know, I don't believe in superstition. I think it's bad luck. We need more superstitions we can prove. I've come up with a few. I think it's bad luck to walk through Florida yelling down with Medicare. Bad luck to go up in a hot air balloon with Howard Stern, because you may never come down. It's bad luck to be the son-in-law of Saddam Hussein. And it's worse luck to go back to Iraq. Can you believe those guys? I mean, they got away and then they went back. I mean, it's like Dumb and Dumber here. I mean, it's like getting away from a grizzly and saying, oh my God, we forgot the potato chips. We better go back. In Washington, D.C., there's a whole new form of bad luck. Actually, it's been going on for about 10 or 15 years now. I hear there's an opening cabinet post. The news turned me white as a ghost, 'cause I really value my privacy. So please, Mr. President, don't pick me. No, don't pick me. My past can't take it. I've got a reputation. Please don't break it. If they start digging, I'm history. Please, Mr. President, don't pick me. If I had to choose between a Senate confirmation hearing and a root canal, I'd be saying, bring on the dentist. I mean, is anyone in this room pure enough to get through one of those things? I'd last about 4 minutes. My past makes Senator Packwood's diary look like Little House on the Prairie. So I'd be tempted just to make up stuff, gross them out. I inhaled in the 60s, I cheated in school, got illegal immigrants cleaning my pool. My affair with Madonna's going strong, and I'm part of the religious wrong. I'm a fundamentalist golfer. I think graphite shafts are the work of the devil. I got some relatives I'm trying to conceal. I got a multi-million-dollar book deal. My savings and loans were hard to resist, and I made the Hollywood Madams list. So don't pick me, Mr. President. You know they're going to bring up picky little things, like my plan to build daycare centers on toxics. That time they caught me using a drift net at SeaWorld. Those cars I built with the gas tank and the front bumper. So don't pick me. My past can't take it. I've got a reputation. Please don't break it. And there's one big scandal that'll leave them stunned. I ran the Orange County Mutual Fund. So please, Mr. President, don't pick me. Thank you. I listen to the news a lot. Stuff. Sometimes you get kind of depressed, and you have to look for positive things in the world. There's a company down in Oregon right now that's making blimps. I think it's in Astoria. I'm not sure, but and that to me is wonderful. I've always loved blimps. I love the word. I think it's just a fun word, blimp. But all of a sudden, companies found that that's good advertising. It took them 20 years to realize that Goodyear had a good thing out there. So now all these companies are getting blimps. Of course, some companies aren't probably not going to get them. I mean, you probably never see a Weight Watchers blimp. Slim, fast blimp. You're not going to see that. But I just love them. And I figure when we've used up all the fossil fuels, blimps will be the only thing in the air. Because you can probably put solar panels across the top of a blimp and run it forever. I think that'd be fun. We could all have our own blimp. We'd have personal blimps. You could be a drunk driver in a blimp. What are you going to hurt? You know? Got hit by a blimp. Darn near knocked me down. People would be up there playing bumper blimps. And it'd be hard to turn them into weapons, too, because that's what we do with most new technology, but it's hard to make a weapon out of it. You'd probably never see attack blimps, stealth blimps. Be fun to see a blimp dogfight, wouldn't it? And now let's see that in slow motion. I love things like that because you can get paranoid in the world. I love to, I read books. I read a lot of books, and I read a lot of spy novels and thrillers and detective stories, and sometimes they affect you. Do you start feeling like the people in the book? Yeah, I get that way. I get very paranoid. Like sometimes, like even when I walk out on stage, I have this terrible feeling that I'm being watched. I have this fear that the microphone is bugged, which would be redundant. But I live in a little small town, and there's not a lot of big crime problems where I live. I live in Spokane, Washington, and our big crime is people knocking over mailboxes, But I go to big cities, and I just get totally freaked out. New York City, and it's a calypso song. I tried to capture the warm, friendly feeling of New York, and I think I've got it in this song. I flew into New York City. From the air, it looked so pretty. A friend led me to the parking garage, started to unlock his old Dodge. He had a burglar alarm in that old beater, axle chain to the parking meter, steering wheel locked to both front doors, and the seats were padlocked to the floor. He had locks, locks. He lived in a world of locks. We only drove about 15 blocks, and he was back locking up locks. He reset the alarm for the slightest jar. Then a leaf fell on the car. Stop that horrible noise, I cried. He said, I can't, the keys are locked inside. We finally made it to his front door. He unlocked 7 locks or more. He said, step aside, and I wondered why. And 3 pit bulls came hurtling by. Later that night, he got ready for bed. The way he undressed nearly knocked me dead. Instead of buttons, he had little locks, and his shoes were padlocked to his socks. He had locks, locks. He lived in a world of locks. In the bathroom, I heard him swear he forgot the combination to his underwear. He got robbed that night and didn't even know. They passed up his TV and his stereo. Didn't even bother with his money box. They took $10,000 worth of locks. He died of shock. What a terrible fate. St. Peter met him at the pearly gate. Said, we're sending you back for another look. In your next life, you're going to be a Chinese cook. He's got walks. Walks. He lives in a world of walks. He had a lot of hard knocks. Now he lives in a world of walks. Going to play the harmonica now, as usual. I've been flooded with requests to play a little harmonica, which is good because I don't have a big one. Time to quit talking about trivial things, the little things. Time to get into the big things in life. The big questions, the ones we all dwell on. The biggest question of all. What would you do if you won the lottery? We all think about that, don't we? And it was stupid. I mean, because the chances of winning the lottery are about the same as the chances of Elvis and Sasquatch walking through that door singing, "You Light Up My Life." It's not going to happen. But it's fun to think about, isn't it? Because we all do weird things, but if you're rich, you can do big weird things. If I won the lottery, the first thing I'd do is buy a Yugo, put a Ferrari engine in it. Just blow the doors off Porsches. It'd be fun to see the look on those guys' faces, wouldn't it? If I won the lottery, I'd build a gated community for the different. You ever looked at gated communities? They're all the same. The houses are the same, people are the same, cars. I'd build it for the different. I wouldn't let anyone in unless they were different. I'd be strict, too. What's that? You're a gay Republican scuba diver for peace? I'm sorry, we've already got one of those. Can't come in. If I won the lottery, I'd start a non-violent hockey league featuring players with teeth. I'd go to San Francisco and build the world's biggest trampoline and put it under the Golden Gate Bridge. Surprise the heck out of suicides. That's weird. Trying to commit suicide, I'm back on the bridge. In the news this morning, a man committed suicide 37 times. And then I'd go to Russia, and I'd build the world's biggest nesting doll. You know those dolls? You open them up, and there's another doll inside. I'd build a huge Statue of Liberty. And you'd open it up, and inside would be another Statue of Liberty, and inside another, and another, and inside all of those, there'd be Elvis and Sasquatch singing, "You light up my life." Our love life is in trouble. We found that out last night. As we watched the evening news, we knew something wasn't right. The weed of politics bears such bitter fruit, 'cause I'm in love with Hillary, and you're in love with Newt. I can't believe you are conservative. while I'm a bleeding heart. All those weeks we dated were ill-fated from the start. We cried so when we parted, our grief was absolute. 'Cause I'm in love with Hillary, you're in love with Newt. You're a dyed-in-the-wool, capital gains tax cutting, chain gang loving, welfare hating conservative. I'm a bleeding heart, tobacco hating, spotted owl loving, gay rights liberal. We have a politically dysfunctional family. On election day, we have to lock up the steak knife. Our marriage was in trouble. We couldn't handle this dispute. 'Cause I'm in love with Hillary and you're in love with Newt. But then we found a vision, one high truth that we both know. All our kids are crazy 'cause they like raw parole. I realized something a while ago. I realized that human beings are the only creatures on earth who try to change the shape of their bodies. You ever thought about that? I mean, you never see camels on Stairmasters. You never see sloths jogging. You never see a hippopotamus getting liposuction. Hippo-lipo. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking right now, it's liposuction. I disagree. I think L-I-P spells lip. You add on O-suction, you get lip-o-suction. It's like filet-o-fish. Got filet, you add on O-fish, you don't get filet-o-fish. We're all trying to change the shape of our bodies. Most of us are trying to lose weight. I know when I'm gaining weight because the guitar moves away from my body. Either my stomach's getting bigger or my arms are getting shorter. We're all trying to lose weight. Yet 70% of Americans are overweight. You know what that means? The overweight people ever get together could take over the country. 70%, we're talking a mandate here. Could push through mandatory chocolate laws. Yeah. Outlaw rice cakes and sprouts. Yeah. Put a bounty on joggers. Yeah. Some big anti-jogging people here. And then it'd be the skinny people trying to fit in, right? They'd be out buying inflatable clothes, getting double chin implants. Compulsive non-eaters would have their jaws wired open. It's tricky stuff, the whole food thing. I was at a little chocolate on the pillow, just like about 1 inch square, and the whole back of the package was filled with nutritional information. It was like, cholesterol, fat, coconut oil, I mean, just every bad thing in the world. And then at the bottom it said, for additional nutritional information, call 1-800-999. What more could they tell you? I mean, it's like, yeah, it's got red meat and Ancient Orange, and it's just a death pill, but I ate it. I thought it tasted great. Because I've got this food thing figured out. Scientists say every food is bad, from pizza to roast beef. Fish have mercury, tea bags have bleach. There's pesticides in every peach. Every bag of groceries contains nutrition mysteries. The theories have all run riot. So I've come up with a brand new diet. I'm a chemical man. I'm a chemical man. I eat the additives, throw away the food. A whiff of smog puts me in the mood. Helicopters are spraying today, I can't wait to go out and play. The government says that it's all okay. It works a lot like brand. I'm a chemical man. Yes, friends, you're looking at a food thrill seeker. You're looking at a man who's eating a Spam and Velveeta sandwich. On white bread. My body is a temple. The temple of doom. My suits are asbestos instead of silk. I drink hormones, throw away the milk. I live downwind from a toxic dump. My stomach once ate up a stomach pump. I just laugh at nutritionist fears, 'cause I've got a shelf life of 2,000 years. And UV rays give me a great tan, 'cause I'm a chemical man. I grew up near a city named Wyandotte, Michigan. And back then, Wyandotte had 5 chemical companies in one city. And it was just amazing. That air made Chernobyl look like a health spa. We'd just sit around and watch the birds fall out of trees. And I know somewhere back there is the woman for me. A woman who believes there is nothing finer than nibbling on crayons made in China. Puts Jolt Cola in her coffee each day. She can outrace the Chevrolet. I'll know she's the woman for me if she skips the food, eats the MSG. And on her forehead every morning, I'll see the Surgeon General's warning, 'cause I'm a chemical man. There's a thing in the paper a while ago, when the group of 7 met, the 7 economic ministers of the 7 most powerful nations of the world, and they met, and their picture was on the front page of the paper, and this is the truth, there were 8 people in the picture. These are people deciding the economic fate of the world, and they can't count to 7. And then after that, the FBI announced that they wanted access to our credit records. Does this cause you to lose faith in the FBI? I mean, they got to be the only people in the world that don't have access to our credit records. Call up a used car dealer and get them. You know? The other thing that bothers me, I've been jogging for about 20 years. I jog, and that's what I do. That's my exercise, and I have never felt that runner's high. You know, they talk about that blissed out state you're supposed to feel. I have never, ever felt that. I think it's just a myth. I think they just use it to sell shoes. Right now, there's shoe pushers out on the playground. Hey, kid, you want to get high? Because if you could get high on running, they'd make it illegal. They would. There'd be Nike narcs in all the parks. You have the right to remain stationary. Any movement will be used against you. There'd be SWAT teams busting down doors. Yeah, Chief, we got them. It was a big treadmill party. They were getting high. Tried to flush a pair of Reeboks down the toilet, but we got them. Good work, men. Under the law, we can confiscate everything they own. I wonder how much that is. I don't know, Chief. The FBI can't find their credit records. I've been down to California recently, and California's had so many disasters, just one right after the other, but there's one disaster nobody talks about, and it's just waiting to happen. And no one's ever written a future disaster song. And so I'm opening up a whole new field of music here. This is an exciting night for you, I would imagine. We shall wander in the wilderness, hoping to survive, looking for our home as we try to stay alive. If we stand together, we'll never fall, and someday we'll find the mall, the mall. One for all and all for one. We won't quit till the shopping's done at the mall, at the mall, at the mall. As we wander in the wilderness, we think of the glory days when malls covered the earth, parking lots as far as the eye could see. A new religion sprang up, mallism. People believed Earth was created by a supreme being looking for a place to shop. They believed hell was a place where everything was on sale and nothing fit. But there were dark forces at work. Mall overpopulation, competition grew vicious, and then came the day which will live in infamy, when Nordstrom's attacked pennies. War, mall against mall, store wars. Thank you. Thank you. It's all downhill from here on out, folks. That was the peak of the show. We fled into the wilderness and we discovered something awful about the wilderness. It's outdoors. What a stupid concept. There's no air conditioning, no pizza by the slice. You ever try and stick a credit card in a tree? Stupid. We wandered for days. Our situation was getting desperate. Women were running low on lip gloss. We couldn't hold out much longer. Then one night we came to a cave, and inside were a bunch of people wearing clothes with no names on them. They were designer impaired. And this wonderfully wise woman looked up and said, "Welcome to the Mall of the Mind. You can be more than shoppers. You can rise above greed and materialism. You can live in a world of truth and beauty and ideas." And for hours we traded ideas. We dealt with the big questions of our time. Questions like, if we can send a space probe to Jupiter, why can't we build an ironing board cover that'll stay on the ironing board? If a fly's eyes are so complex, why do they keep bumping into windows? If you built a computer in northern Finland, would it be called a laptop? And when we were done, the wonderfully wise woman looked up and asked the greatest philosophical question of our times. Will that be cash or charge? In the mall. All my life I looked for love and thought I'd never win. Years I searched and years I failed. I cried and tried again. I looked in clubs and singles bars. I walked the ocean shore. Then one night I found it in a candy store. 'Cause I'm in love with chocolate. Its magic fills the air. People come and people go, but chocolate's always there. Light or dark, hard or soft, I just can't deny it. I eat chocolate-covered rice cakes when I go on a diet. My name is Mike, and I'm a chocoholic.
Hi, Mike.
All right, a fellow member. Well, it started innocently enough. A few M&Ms, a couple Kit Kat bars. Soon I was into the heavy stuff. Cadbury chocolates, Godiva chocolates, Mozart chocolates. Soon I was snorting Nestle's Quick. I was a cocoa head. But I still wouldn't admit I had a problem. And then one night I met the woman of my dreams. We went out to dinner, and afterwards we sat holding hands, gazing into each other's eyes. This was love, true love. Love nothing could destroy. Then the waiter wheeled in a dessert cart. On top was a huge chocolate mousse. I dumped her and ran off with a moose. 'Cause I'm in love with chocolate. Its magic never yields. You can have relationships. I'll take Mrs. Field. That night I blacked out. I woke up 2 days later in an alley, empty bag of chocolate chips in my lap. Big tattoo of Willy Wonka. Later that night, I broke into a Hershey's factory. Police caught me doing water ballet in a huge vat of milk chocolate. There's only one thing they could do. Gave me a 9.6 for technical merit. I was desperate for help. Doctor said there was only one hope: a choco-lobotomy. An operation to remove the chocolate center of the brain. A very dangerous operation, because the chocolate center of the brain is right next to the sex center. That's why a lot of people eat chocolate in bed. The operation failed, and I am out of control. And I'd trade this song right now for a Tootsie Roll. Fans, I'd like to get serious here for a moment. Talk about the hidden shame of fractosis. 90% of the sufferers don't even know they have it. The other 25% don't care. Fractosis, the inability to deal with fractions. Half of these people can be cured. A third are hopeless. The other 3/5 are drug abusers. Early detection is important before these people become auditors for the Internal Revenue Service. Before they handle DNA evidence at big murder trials. So look for these early warning signs. If your dairy worker can't figure out how to mix half and half. If you need a calculator to split up a pizza. If you can't figure out how much meat to put into a quarter pounder. If you go to a sale and can't decide whether a half off is better than a third off. If you go to a strip tease and can't decide whether a half off is better than a third off. You can help. Contact the Fractosis Foundation, dedicated to the band director who started the halftime show at the end of the first quarter, and to politicians who think 30% is a mandate. Remember, if we all chip in 110%, we can solve 90% of this problem in half the time. Thank you, and good night. I've been in this business for a long time, and I just love it. It's a wonderful way to make a living. But years ago, I had all kinds of weird experiences. Years ago, I was working in Seattle, and this company hired me to play their convention. And they had a convention on a tour boat. It was this big boat, big open boat, and there was about 200 people on board. And they went out into Puget Sound, and we did a show. And with me on the show was a dance team, this man and this woman. And they were really good. I mean, they could dance. And the show went just fine. We had a wonderful time. And Then we went out and had a salmon bake, and coming back, we hit a storm. And it was this big, huge storm. I mean, it was really kicking up, and it was tossing that boat around, and people were getting scared and seasick. And they asked me if I'd get people singing songs, get their minds off this thing. And so I did, and we were singing songs. It was going pretty well, and then I learned something really important. I learned if you're on a boat with a bunch of scared, seasick people, you should not sing the song about the Titanic. They had no sense of humor at all about that song. We're talking near-death experience there. They were coming at me. I was looking at the guitar as a flotation device. And then another weird thing happened about a month later. I was working in a showroom in Seattle, and it was one of those magic nights. It was just the audience was really cool, and everything. And afterwards, the waitresses asked me out for a drink. It was like 4 women asking me out for a drink, and I was young and single, and I thought, whoa, this is it. Mr. Big Time Studley Entertainer, you know. My head was out to here, you know. I was scratching my head. And I got in the car, and I said, where are we going? And they said, we're going to Papa Bear's. Well, Papa Bear's in Seattle was this tavern. It was like a Chippendales. And guys got up and ripped their clothes off, and women threw money and yeah. And I said, well, this wasn't really what I had in mind. You know, I don't watch a bunch of guys take their clothes off. And they said, no, come on, it'll be fun. And I said, no, I really don't want to go. And they dragged me out there, and they dragged me in the door, and I said, I really don't want to go here. I don't want to watch guys. They said, come on. We walked in. There was a guy on stage. He was ripping his shirt off, and women were screaming and yelling. And he looked over, and he saw us come in, and he said, Mike, how you doing? It was that dancer from the tour boat. Those women looked at me like, oh, you don't like to watch men take their clothes off, eh? I was watching one of those sleazy talk shows. I guess that's redundant too, isn't it? And I try and pretend I'm above that stuff, but I'm not. I mean, every now and then you just have to go mentally slumming. And it was just horrible. It was just bad. But I realized music has not kept up with the relationships of today, and so I've written my sleazy talk show country song. This modern world is too much, and I'm so far out of touch. Last night was the low point, the living end, 'cause my wife ran off with my girlfriend. Yes, my wife ran off with my girlfriend. I can't believe they were cheating on me, especially when I was cheating on them. Yes, my wife ran off with my girlfriend. I'll tell you, boys, I was shocked. You know what really hurt? My mom loaned them her car. And they took our house. That's the trouble with living in a mobile home. Came back, there was nothing there but a concrete pad. Should have known something was up. There were little tip-offs, little signs. Like that weekend, my wife watched Thelma and Louise 14 times in a row. That day when my girlfriend had her name changed to Steve. Right then, I should have figured something was happening, but I was busy preparing for that tailhook convention. Then I got back and they were gone. I can't believe a heart can be broken in 3. A love triangle did it all to me. I was so blind, I was so obtuse. Then side B ran off with the hypotenuse. No one's ever gotten that into a song. as my wife ran off with my girlfriend. Yeah, boys, it wouldn't have been so bad if they kept it quiet, but no, they had to go on TV. Went on Geraldo and Sally Jesse Raphael and Jerry Springer and told the whole world what a low-life sleazebag I was. And next thing I knew, I was on the cover of Time magazine, sleazebag of the year. It wasn't easy. I had to beat out 2 congressmen and a member of the British royal family. But I'm trying to turn my life around now. I hope they have a good life. I wish them the best. Personally, it's been hard on me. It kind of wrecked my career. I was running for the Senate, family values platform. Christian Coalition wants their money back. Hey, I'm just a politician. I just talk family values. I don't live them. Give me a break. Yes, my wife ran off with my girlfriend. I was thinking about coffee and liquor. Have you ever compared the two? They're both drugs, coffee and liquor, but coffee is supposed to be a stimulant, like it pumps you up, right? Liquor is supposed to be a depressant, brings you down. Yet you go into a bar, everyone's pumped up, everyone's rocking and rolling and loud. You go into a coffee house, everyone's kind of reading philosophy and stuff. These drugs don't work. And nobody talks about the hidden, dangerous side effect of liquor, the big one, tattoos. I'm convinced you drink a certain amount of liquor and that tattoo response kicks in. You think, boy, I need a tattoo. That's why tattoo parlors are always next to bars. You never see them next to coffee houses. You never see someone have 6 or 7 lattes and say, boy, I need a tattoo. And it's dangerous. If you're drunk and in a tattoo parlor, that's the worst thing that could happen to a person because, I mean, your judgment is not right up at the peak of... I heard about this guy, and this is the truth, this friend of a friend who was drunk in a tattoo parlor, and he got I love pizza tattooed across his forehead. You talk about a bad hangover. Stagger in the bathroom the next morning and you look in the mirror, and oh my God. This could hurt my job down at the bank. Yeah, trust us with your money. And the stupidest tattoos of all are the ones they put inside the lips of Doberman pinchers and Rottweilers for identification. Who's gonna check? Yeah, Bob, we got this Rottweiler. He's been lost about 3 weeks. He's real hungry and kind of irritable. Would you lift up his lip and see if he's got a tattoo? Sure thing, Bill. I'll get right on that. This whole thing got started in my mind because I live in Seattle, which is pretty much the coffee capital of civilization. I mean, you can't walk 4 steps in Seattle without tripping over an espresso cart. And they got a new airplane now. Boeing's bringing out a new plane. It's powered by caffeine. It's the fastest plane in the world, but you don't want to be around it early in the morning. And love is different in Seattle. It's a whole different experience. So I wrote a Seattle love song. This is the fastest song I've ever written. I wrote it in a moment of mocha madness. She's from Seattle where coffee's king, caffeine's a part of everything. Got the pedal to the floor, she's a lean machine. She's my caffeine queen. Never gets the slows, no lying in bed. My woman's an espresso head. Couple doubles to start the day, some cappuccino along the way. Bounces around like a jumping bean. She's my caffeine queen. Makes a road runner look like he's on Quaaludes. One day I drank 7 cups with her, drove 800 miles to Big Sur. Fastest wedding you've ever seen. I married my caffeine queen. Honeymoon took 17 minutes. We wrecked a motel room and everything in it. Our eyes were glazed, our bodies shaking. Lamps were falling, the windows breaking. Manager rushed in to view the scene. I said, hey, don't worry, it's just caffeine. So I don't care what anyone says. Eat your heart out, Juan Valdez. She's my caffeine queen. And we're sleepless in Seattle. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of weird people in the world. It seems like that to me. I've been thinking about it. Not here. We're all cool here. Out there, man, there's some wackos. Just strange stuff. This is another gun thing. I heard about this guy in Arizona. This is on the radio. A guy got shot in the head. They rushed him to the hospital, and before they could operate, he sneezed, and the bullet came out his nose. Bad news is he shot the doctor. Weird people out there. I heard this story about this chemist, this woman chemist who'd gone beyond feminism. She developed a pathological hatred for men, and she was trying to develop a chemical that would destroy men's minds and their reproductive systems. Luckily, the two aren't connected. We're not that stupid. And then these people get together and they form cults. And I know a little bit about cults. I used to belong to one years ago. I was a Hare Krishna, Branch Davidian, macrobiotic, Zen Buddhist, Kung Fu, born-again Weight Watcher for peace. We had it covered, but I still wasn't happy. And one night a voice came to me and said, Mike, go forth and divide. Split up these cults. Free your people. And that's when I began the world's first non-cult. The non-unification church, the Nunis. We have 4 rules. Rule 1, you cannot accept me as your leader. Accepting me as your spiritual leader would be like accepting Miss Piggy as your personal trainer. Rule 2, we don't collect money. We're the only organization that can make that statement. We don't bug you in airports or call on the phones. We just leave you alone. Rule 3, we always split aces and eights. Rule 4, no organization should have more than 3 rules. The Nunis, we're looking for people who think for themselves. People who know that no problem is so big that it can't be solved by a vacation. People who know that a world without sex is a world without talk shows. Who know that love is the most beautiful thing on earth. But credit cards are accepted in more places. Who know that fear is nature's way of saying, go do something else. who know that a woman's place is anywhere she wants to be. And that a man's place is with the TV remote control. Right, man? Women don't know how to use those things. Women will watch an entire program all the way through. That's not television. We want people to know that it's stupid to chop down 300 trees, put in a subdivision called Shady Oaks. Who knows that people with multiple personalities should share them with people who don't have any. The Nunis someday will rise up and do nothing. We'll just sing our song. We are the Nunis, proud and free, the first non-cult in history. We don't pay dues and we don't meet, and we don't care if our songs don't rhyme. Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. It's been a great audience.